In this matchup, let's look at the controlling blue deck versus the destructive black deck. Alright, we're going to play as the blue player and see what they draw. Alright, Numbing Dose. It's a 5 mana enchant creature that the creature will not untap ever again, and its controller loses 1 life every turn. And Island. A Psychic Barrier. Counter target creature spell, and the controller loses a life. An island. Another island. And finally, Narcolepsy. Target creature taps forever. Not too bad. 4 land and a counter spell, so not a bad start. We'd like to see some, actually it's just about perfect. Maybe some more counter spells, but it's good. Alright, so blue player is going to go first. Land, pass turn. Black player, land, pass turn. Blue player, land, and they will now pass the turn. Black player, swamp, and there's no creatures to kill, so they will pass the turn. Blue player draws another land, and they will pass the turn again. This is kind of probably normal for a destroying deck versus a controlling deck. They both want to kill the other person's creatures, and no one's playing creatures yet. Alright, swamp. Alright, we're going to get our first action here. Black player's like, alright, I'll start by playing a Phyrexian Ghoul, a 2/2. Yeah, blue player's not going to allow that. 3 mana, counter target creature spell, and draw a card. So they get to draw a card. And they draw another counter spell. Alright, blue player's turn. Alright, so here's a win condition of blue. They're not going to play it now, but it's a 5 mana, 4/2 with hexproof, meaning that the black player won't be able to target it with a spell, and it's prowess. So if they play a non-creature spell, it can get bigger for 1 turn. They'll play their 4th land, and they're going to stay back because they want to counter any creature spells that this person plays, that the black player plays. Alright, black player draws another card, plays another swamp, and goes ahead and attempts to play another Phyrexian Ghoul. And the blue player will go ahead and counter that. Counter a creature spell, and its controller loses a life. So black goes down to 19. Second main phase, black player is actually going to use their last mana to play Goalcaller's Chant, which lets you return a creature from the graveyard to your hand or 2 zombies. So both cards that were countered actually are going to go back to the black player's hand, which is not good for the blue player. Alright, blue player draws. They get another land. And at this point, they do have another counter spell, but they have another kind of option they can do here. Since whatever comes out, they do have a way of, if a black player gets a creature out, they do have a way of making it tap with one of these cards. So I think what they're going to do is they're actually going to go ahead and go for it and try to get some damage going with this deck. They're going to play the 4/2 with hexproof and pass the turn. Alright, black draws. And the black player will actually pay 2 mana to play Guess Verdict. Target player sacrifices a creature and loses a life. So unfortunately, this is the only creature they have. They will have to sacrifice it and lose a life. So, oh well for hexproof. And that's all they can do for right now. Blue player's turn. Alright, another land. So we're getting kind of a lot of lands, which isn't the best thing here, but alright, we'll pass the turn. Black's turn. Alright, so the black player is going to go ahead and try playing this Phyrexian Ghoul. The blue player is going to play Memory Lapse. That's the one that it counters it, but it puts the card on top of its owner's library instead of going to the graveyard. So black, it's actually pretty good against black, who doesn't mind things going to the graveyard, because now they're going to have to draw that again next turn. Black will pass the turn to blue. So blue kind of just buys a turn, if you will. Plays an island. They got 7 islands now. That's enough to go ahead and tap 5 to play Mulldrifter. It's a 2/2 flyer. It's a 2/2 flying fish. And when it comes into play, more importantly, you draw 2 cards. They draw a counter spell, perfect. And they also draw a Narcolepsy, which lets you tap the creature forever. Alright, and they actually have 2 mana open for a counterspell, so that's good. And black player's turn, what do you think they're going to draw? Oh, it's that Phyrexian Ghoul again that we put there. Alright, so the black player is actually going to sit back for a minute and pass the turn. Alright, so the blue player untaps. They draw an Echoing Truth, which lets you return a creature to its owner's hand. And then they're going to try to attack with the Mulldrifter. In response, the black player is going to play Doomblade, destroy target non-black creature. Alright, now that will kill the fish, except the blue player has a little trick up their sleeve. They're going to play Echoing Truth, which can return a creature to its owner's hand. They're actually going to save the Mulldrifter. And the Doomblade can go away. Alright. It's still the blue player's turn. And they have enough mana to, hey, play the Mulldrifter again. Which is good because you have to draw another 2 cards. They get another counter spell and a land. They're actually going to play their land for the turn, which they haven't done yet. And now they will pass the turn. Black player draws. Oh. And decides that this time they're going to pass the turn again. They're actually okay with that. Alright, blue player's turn. They draw a counter target creature spell. And they're going to try to attack with the Mulldrifter, but the Mulldrifter did draw another Doomblade and is going to kill the Mulldrifter with the Doomblade. This time, however, the blue player does not have a way to save the Mulldrifter, and it will die. And that's it for the blue player. Now, black player's turn. They draw. And they're going to play Ravenous Rats. When it comes into play, the blue player has to discard a card. However, blue player is not going to allow that. They're going to pay 3 and exclude counter target creature spell, so it never hits the field, and they get to draw a card. They draw Horseshoe Crab. 1/3 that you can untap. For 1 mana, you can untap it. Let's see. Black has nothing else, so it is blue's turn. Alright. They draw another Narcolepsy, so the creature would go to sleep. Tap forever. So they're actually okay if some creatures do hit the field. They have a lot of stuff here to stop them. Do they want to play the Horseshoe Crab? No. Horseshoe Crab's kind of a part of a combo that we might see later, so they're just going to pass the turn. Black draws. And they're going to go ahead and play Black Cat, hoping that the blue player is going to use up a counter spell on Black Cat. The blue player actually is not going to counter that Black Cat. It's going to let it live. It's got a better plan for it, if you will. Alright, the black player is like, okay. And it's now blue player's turn. They draw a land. And alright, this is what the blue player is going to do instead. They're going to pay 5 land to put a numbing dose on this black cat. Meaning that it does not, it'll have to tap during its turn, and every turn the black player will lose a life. And that's all they're going to do. It's now black player's turn. So to untap, the black cat has to tap and deals a damage to the black player. Not that cool. The black player draws. And they actually draw, they're going to try something else. If they're not going to counter, maybe the blue player ran out of counter spells, they're going to play Phyrexian, actually you know what, yeah, Phyrexian Ghoul, which gives you the ability to sacrifice a creature, hopefully killing the black cat before it can do a whole lot of damage. Unfortunately, for black player, blue player does have a counter spell. They were letting that black cat come out on purpose so they could put the numbing dose on it, and they'll exclude that Phyrexian Ghoul, countering it and drawing a card. They draw another exclude, another drawing card. So this card's kind of cool because it counters the creature and it lets you draw a card, so it replenishes itself. And it drew another counter spell. That's all black can do. It's now blue's turn. Untap, draw, another land. Alright, they would like some things other than lands right now. Maybe some offense. Although their main offensive guy, the hexproof guy, got killed pretty early to a guess the verdict. Not playing the horseshoe crab yet, so they're just going to sit back and control more. You know why? Because on black player's turn, they lose a life because of the numbing dose. So the blue player is kind of okay with a longer game. If you're playing against blue, the games will go longer because they'll just sit back and control the other player, dealing 1 damage at a time. Alright, the black player draws. Alright, the black player is going to try to play another Phyrexian Ghoul. He's going to try again. Blue player has another exclude. It's going to counter it again and draw a card again. And it draws, hey, Hermetic Study. It turns your creature into a pinger, meaning they can tap and deal 1 damage. So there's our combo. This is actually a pretty cool combo. If you put it on the horseshoe crab, the horseshoe crab will be able to tap and deal damage and then pay a mana to untap it. And then repeat, tap and deal damage, pay a mana, untap it. So hopefully we can get that out. We do want to get it out and protect it though. You know, black can kill things pretty easily. So we need to get some kind of counter spell, hopefully, to protect it. Alright, so it's now the blue player's turn. They will draw. They got return a creature to its owner's hand. And they're not going to play the horseshoe crab just yet because they don't want it to die. They could put it out there and save it with Echoing Truth, but no point in putting it out there just to save it. They kind of want to build a better defense around it. So they're going to go ahead and pass the turn. And they're okay with passing the turn because the black cat with the numbing dose on it is just kind of killing the black player slowly. Black player draws. And they're going to try to play a creature. They're going to try playing Phyrexian Rager. However, blue player is not going to allow it. They do have another counter spell. Counter that, and the controller of it actually loses a life. Nothing else black can do, so it's blue player's turn. And they get a Rush of Knowledge, which lets you draw cards equal to the greatest mana cost of a blue permanent, which at this time is Numbing Dose is 5 mana for Numbing Dose. So if you play this, you'll draw 5 cards. That actually seems like a pretty good thing to do. Even though we have 7 cards here, let's go ahead and try it out. So we're going to go ahead and especially since we do not have a counter spell on us. So we're going to go ahead and pay Rush of Knowledge and draw 5 cards because Numbing Dose costs 5 mana. Hey, we got a counter spell, a land, another Numbing Dose, Compulsive Research, which lets you draw 3 cards and then discard 2 or discard a land. And lastly, a Seagate Oracle, which is a 1/3, and it lets you draw 2 cards, keep 1, and put 1 on the bottom of your deck. Pretty good. They will play the land for their turn. And with all this out here, they actually are thinking about playing the Horseshoe Crab. They could play the Horseshoe Crab because they have a Memory Lapse, which is a counter spell to protect it. So, let's see. They're going to go ahead and... they would like more land, so maybe not. So they're definitely wanting this Hermit Crab, Horseshoe Crab, Hermit thing combo. They want the counter spell. They want... the Echoing Truth to protect it. So you got 2 cards to protect it. And you can keep 3 more of these. Let's keep the Numbing Dose, because that's a cool card. Let's keep the Sea Oracle, because it lets you draw cards. And let's just keep the other guy that lets you draw cards. Card advantage is probably what we want in this game more than anything else. So we will have to discard these 3 Narcolepsies. Unless we wanted to play something else. Nah. We're just going to go ahead and discard these Narcolepsies. They're not really that important right now anyway. Alright. So you got a pretty good selection of cards here. Okay. It's black player's turn. They lose a life. They untap. They draw. Alright, what are they going to do here? They're going to attempt to play another card, another creature. Alright, so black is attempting to play Phyrexian Broodlings. However, the blue player does not like that. They're going to go ahead and counter that spell and putting Phyrexian Broodlings back on top. They did not want that to happen because that would have allowed the black cat to get sacrificed. With the other mana, black is actually going to play Gold Caller's Chant, which lets them go get 2 zombies from their deck, and they're going to go get these 2 Phyrexian Ragers. I'm sorry, 1 Phyrexian Rager, 1 Phyrexian Ghoul. Alright, they don't have anything else to do, so they pass the turn to blue. Alright, return target creature to its owner's hand, so that's good for protecting the Horseshoe Crab. The Horseshoe Crab can deal damage pretty much equal to the lands that it has once it's ready to start shooting. So it would need 1 for the Hermetic Study, 2 for the Hermetic Study, and then it would be able to deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we get the black player down to 9 life, it might go for it. Until then, it's just going to, let's see, play some other cards. So it's going to play Seagate Oracle, which lets you draw 2 cards and keep 1 and play 1. A land or more drawing cards. At this point, actually, they're going to go ahead and keep the land because they want to be able to shoot down the black player. They can put that land into field for the turn and return the other one to the bottom. Let's see, they got 6 cards. They're actually going to go ahead and play 3 more and to play the Compulsive Research, which lets you draw 3 cards and either discard 2 or a land. Alright, they kind of want the counter spell. We got drawing cards, counter spell, or keeping a land. I know I said we should want to keep the land, but counterspells are good too. So let's keep the counterspell. And we'll discard the land, and we'll keep the counterspell and the Mole Drifter. So that card's kind of cool because you can either discard 2 cards or discard a land and keep the 2 cards. Okay, they still have 6 lands, and with 6 lands, they're going to actually just wait a little bit longer. Alright, black player's turn. They take a damage for the Numbing Dose. Untap. Draw. Hey, it's a Phyrexian Broodling that got put on top. And, let's see here. They finally have something to kill. They also really want to play more creatures. They really want to play a creature that's going to allow them to sacrifice their black cat. So they're going to pay 3 mana for a Phyrexian Broodling. Is there a counterspell over here? Yes, there is. Blue is going to counter that spell and make them lose a life. So blue is pretty much protecting this black cat from getting sacrificed. The black's trying to kill the black player is trying to kill the black cat, but the blue player is not allowing it to happen. It's now blue player's turn. They untap. They draw another Horseshoe Crab. Hey, another Horseshoe Crab means that even if one gets killed, another one could still live. I think it might be time to go for it, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus the Numbing Dose is dealing damage on the turn. Plus Sea Oracle is going to deal damage. Yeah, I think we might want to go for it. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to pay 3 mana to play 1 Horseshoe Crab. And another 3 mana to play the other Horseshoe Crab. And hopefully one of them lives, because we do have 2 ways of saving them. So with 2 ways of saving them and 2 Horseshoe Crabs on the field, they would need, the black player would need literally 3 kill spells to, or 4 kill spells to get through all of them. Because there's 2 to kill and I have 2 ways to save them. They're also going to attack for 1 with the Seagate Oracle and pass the turn. It's now black player's turn. They lose a life to Numbing Dose. Untap. And here we go. Alright, they do have a couple creatures over here, but they don't want to play creatures. They want to kill those Horseshoe Crabs. So they're going to play... Unfortunately, they don't have too much going on here. Alright, they're going to play Terror and try to kill this Horseshoe Crab. The blue player is going to tap 3 mana and return the Horseshoe Crab to its hand. So the repulse is kind of cool because it could be used against the black player to return their cards to their hand, but it can also be used to save your creatures. So it's going to save this Horseshoe Crab from dying. Alright. With the other 2 mana, the black player doesn't have too much of a choice, but they're going to play, actually, Guess Verdict to make the blue player sacrifice a creature. The blue player's not going to sacrifice their Horseshoe Crab. They're going to sacrifice his Seagate Oracle. That's all the black player can do. It's now blue player's turn, and the Horseshoe Crab did survive. Luckily, it did survive. Alright, so now we get to see it in action. Ooh, a land. That's going to be good. Alright, so they'll pay 2 mana to put the Hermetic Study on the Horseshoe Crab. Now the Horseshoe Crab does not have any more summoning sickness. It can tap. And it's going to tap and deal 1 damage to the black player. It's then going to tap an island and untap, and then tap and do another damage to the black player. And it's essentially going to do this for each land. Boom. And it's kind of like a little machine gun here, because it's just going to go, every time you tap a land, boom, 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 and I have enough land to shoot down all of the black player's life. And just for fun, I have an extra mana to kill this black cat. When the black cat dies, the blue player does have to discard a card. It doesn't really matter because they have enough land to finish off the black player. And so the blue player and this little machine gun Horseshoe Crab with her Hermetic Study on it finished the day. And blue wins.